A penny saved is a penny earned. I know that I've heard a recording from Zig Ziglar, who I could highly encourage everyone to listen to for some great motivation. But Zig Ziglar tells this story, and he's making a point by describing a very famous archer at the time. I believe it was Howard Hill, and how amazing he was in shooting a bow and arrow. And what he was telling the crowd that Zig was speaking to was that he could have them shooting better than this Olympian of an archer, provided that they could blindfold Howard Hill and spin him around. And he's making the point that yes, well, even this Olympian level archer, if he were blindfolded and he had his environment just completely skewed and these things going on, that he could have the average person shooting better than him. And when I was thinking about this saying of a penny saved is a penny earned, I was thinking about how Nash would talk about the environment, in particular with aviation. He would talk about, how a plane can have a headwind, or a plane can be fighting no wind at all, or also how a plane could have a tailwind. And what he was saying is that the average American has a massive, massive headwind. They're just trying to fight against so many different things, whether that's inflation or taxation, interest, of course, being the biggest probably that he talks about in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. We're fighting against this massive headwind of interest. He would say that the average American is paying 34.5 cents of every dollar that we earn in interest alone. So massive headwind is being fought. And what he was saying is that if we could control that environment and not only remove that headwind from delaying or impeding our progress, but rather turn that into a tailwind. Well, if the average American's fighting this headwind and we're right beside them with a massive tailwind, especially by comparison, let alone just looking at our individual situation, if we are practicing the infinite banking concept and we are our own bankers, but in comparison with the average American, we're literally blowing by the competition. Hello and welcome to the Durham Talents channel. My name is Jesse Durham. For today's installment in our quotes series, we are evaluating the quote, "A penny saved is a penny earned," and we're going to do so with an infinite banking lens, as always. Now, it was Benjamin Franklin who's apparently most commonly been attributed with saying this particular quote or something close to it. Perhaps it was more accurately said by Ben Franklin as "a penny saved is 2 pence clear." But regardless, and let me know down in the comment section. It's always cool to hear if you've heard this saying of "a penny saved is a penny earned." And what I would like to say is the middle of the road probably is telling us that saving good, having the discipline to beat Parkinson's, the way that Nash describes, and set aside money, set aside capital for ourselves, for our use, that discipline, that habit, that act, it's a worthwhile one. Now, there's also, scripture that kind of counterbalance that particular thought as well, that says, in the parable of the talents, where a guy went out and just dug a hole in the ground and buried money. Well, obviously nothing special happened in that hole. Yes, that money was saved, but it had no opportunity to be used there. Of course, there were no dividends or interest that could be earned on that. It's in a hole in the ground. Okay. So I know that on one hand, we've got the Dave Ramseys and the Susie Orman saying, well, save up this emergency fund or baby emergency fund, then save up this fully funded emergency fund, and then save up 15% of your income towards retirement in these particular plans. And it's supposed to be for everybody, and save up money to throw at college for the kids, save up money to pay off the mortgage early, and then save up for your giving, and just save. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got the Robert Kiyosaki's of the world saying savers are losers. You've got this fiat currency. You've got this depreciating dollar that's just becoming less and less potent in this inflationary environment. So I think there's something to be learned from all of these areas. I liked it how from the first time that I read Dale Carnegie say that every man's my superior in some way. And in that way, I can learn from him. In that thing, I can learn from anybody. I might learn what not to do, but I can still learn from anybody. And we have these ends of a financial spectrum. And I would say that, like Nash points out, it's worthwhile to beat Parkinson's. Most people are spending everything that they earn, if not beyond. It's worthwhile to beat Parkinson's and have the discipline, have the habit, own the appropriate entity, again, as well. For us, that's a properly structured whole life policy with a mutual company that pays a dividend. Own a proper entity wherein you can best practice compounding your money and maintaining access and accounting for the banking function in your life. Not just saving money, but growing your money, compounding your money uninterrupted, because we are in an inflationary environment. We are using depreciating dollars. And what we could do is we can use depreciating dollars to fund appreciating assets. Where our money's growing and compounding, we still maintain access to that capital. And it is growing to help us beat out against inflation. And of course, by owning that entity, we can finance the things that we're wanting to do in life. And now we're not only, earning on premiums that we're paying, but we're also, by owning this asset, able to recapture principal and interest that otherwise would have gone to someone else. If we're doing any kind of investing, we're able to receive those profits into a private entity that we own and control. So there's value, I think, in this saying of a penny saved is a penny earned. We'll give, the credit that we can to Ben Franklin. If you know more of where that saying has come from, you can also let me know that down in the comments section. But somewhere between the spectrum of being a wealthy miser, let's say, or complete indigence on this side of the spectrum, owning nothing, well, maybe somewhere in the middle to where we can be happy in what we have, because my goodness, there are so many things that money can't buy. But again, and we've covered a lot of those quotes as well. There's a lot of utility in having money as well. So it would be nice to have the money, nice to have, a good mindset and mentality on how to use and to grow and to develop our personal private monetary system as well. So my encouragement with this saying is, let's employ some honest introspection on how we're doing with Parkinson's law. Are we living within our means, and are we also at the same time looking to expand our means by becoming our own banker, so that interest is staying in our family, so that we are actively and proactively building appreciating assets that will allow us greater access to capital in the future? How are we doing on this particular point of a penny saved is a penny earned? I believe what I would say is a penny grown is a penny well used. My goodness, I can remember being a child, and if you found change lying on the floor, I had siblings. You'd have to scramble if you wanted to be the one to get it. Oh my goodness. And then I remember at certain times thinking about, this is an interesting thought, thinking about, I believe it would have been somebody like Bill Gates. And there was this number, which was a wild number, of course, thrown out. And this is years and years ago, saying, if $1,000 or whatever it was, $1,000 was on the ground, it would be worth more to someone like Bill Gates to continue on with whatever it is that they're doing with their day than to take the time to bend over and pick up, $100 or $1,000 or whatever the eye-catching number was. So that's something to really temper the idea of a penny saved is a penny earned. That just came to me. Very interesting. There's something also to be said about being well capitalized. There's never a time we're going to wish we had less capital or less access to capital. So again, having the discipline and the appropriate entities where we can amass capital that will grow and compound into the future, that can't be overstated. So if you'd like to have a conversation about how to implement the infinite banking concept in your household or your business or your investing, then you can reach us at 828-817-4223, or you can email durhamtalents@gmail.com. This has been a great pleasure for me. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great day. Take care. So that's okay, here we are. A penny saved is a penny earned. All right.